Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It's gonna be Dysnomia taking on BenBot. I previously cast a match between these two, and it was fun to watch, and I thought, let's see another one. A Terran versus Zerg, but more importantly, a bot versus bot. And so, Dysnomia already telling us its strategy in chat, saying 4 hatchery before pool, which is just ridiculous. And then BenBot saying Boz BSE. I don't know what that means. We'll just have to wait and see. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and click the like button, subscribe if you're not currently subscribed, join the Discord, and leave a comment that is linked down below. Or leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'm getting my wires crossed there. So we have the first of presumably 3 hatcheries going up for Dysnomia. We'll figure it out eventually. And yeah, 4 hatcheries is exciting, and this is exactly what the bot authors are doing with this project. This is an offshoot of Eris, for those of you that don't know. So Dysnomia gonna be going for a 4th hatchery, it looks like, and there it is. That is very much an effect of the speed mining. It would take much longer for a non-speed mining player to get those up, or at least a few more seconds. So Dysnomia going for the greediest build imaginable, whereas BenBot is actually going for just a racks inside its main base, and then just a command center behind it. So actually playing it pretty conservatively compared to how BenBot usually does. BenBot tends to go for at least a single proxy rack sometimes, and that would have been pretty darn effective against a 4 hatchery play, whereas in this match that is not going to be the case, unfortunately. So BenBot having bad luck with the build orders there. I really do enjoy the fact that the bot authors of Dysnomia are going for some more varied builds off the back of their best bot, because if Eris was one thing, it is predictable the way that it plays. So them having a variant with different builds and stuff is really exciting to see. I imagine that could be significant in the bot tournaments that happen. Now, we do have overlords moving across the map, triple queen production. We'll see if Dysnomia can get up to 4 queen production or not. However, its macro is just going to be ridiculous this game. And we know that, oh, there we have it, 4 queens at a time at the 3-minute mark. That's not something you see too often. And we know that Dysnomia has incredible macro, and this is just supercharging it even more. Really making use of the fact that a lot of bots are not aggressive. Look at this, it's already up to 40 drones. This is nuts. 40 drones, it shouldn't have any issue getting beyond that. No gas taken yet either. This is just so darn greedy. BenBot is going for a 3rd command center already, so that's good to see, but it's gonna be so far behind on the economy, it's not even funny. As, yeah, Dysnomia already up to 42 workers and rising, just making workers and queens. The saturation is going to be really important too, because speed mining means that each base is an even bigger jump than it is in just a non-speed mining game. So, like, I mean, the difference between 3 bases and 4 bases is larger than without the speed mining, if you get what I'm saying. So it's just really emphasizing how crazy this economy is. For those of you that don't know how speed mining works, basically workers have, I believe, have slightly faster acceleration when they're being issued a command initially. So the bots make use of that by issuing commands to every single worker every time they head to and from a mineral patch. We see the clicking there. And that basically means that they travel slightly faster and mine slightly faster as a result. About, I believe it was 7 to 10%, someone said in the comments one time. And that's significant in a game like Starcraft 2. We're seeing Dysnomia have a ridiculous amount of Zerglings here on the way. Just a crazy amount of minerals. It has yet to start any gas yet, as it's at 1,500 minerals and rising. This income is just ridiculous. It's at 4,000 already. Like, usually we only see Terrans or Zergs hit that at 100 workers, whereas it's at 70 with extreme saturation. And we usually only see Terrans hit it when they're like dropping a bunch of mules or something like that. So that is just crazy. We do have BenBot macroing on its side of the map, getting up a third base, a planetary fortress. Now, if Dysnomia is going for just lings, the planetary and the bunker and the widow mine will be very useful. But if Dysnomia does eventually throw up gases at some point, it's going to be really concerning. I am wondering when those gases are going to go up, because it's got plenty of minerals, too many minerals, as a matter of fact, and we are actually seeing BenBot go for a faster battle cruiser than it does in some games. So kind of going back to its roots, I feel in the past few games of BenBot I've cast, it's gone for a lot more bio than it has traditionally, so BenBot busting out a different play. I actually really do like the early battle cruiser. They require a very specific response, whereas Dysnomia doesn't have anything that actually deals with BCs other than its 9 queens. No spores, no gas either, so it's years away from a lair, it seems. However, the ling count is growing, and that is just ridiculous. There's no speed either on these lings. These are just slow lings. This is so ridiculous. Dysnomia is just doing like supercharged macro play into as many lings as possible. It's got plenty of larvae now, so I'm not sure what it's saving that for. Like, what other requirements is Dysnomia going to do? Will it eventually transition into that strong Zerg macro? Or is it potentially going to throw this game by not really making anything but slow Zerglings? We're going to see as more hatcheries are on the way, so more larvae, more lings. The money is growing for the red Zerg, though. And this is such a weird build. Definitely seems a little experimental. BenBot saying tag Zergling. Yes, BenBot, you are right. As we see 159 slowlings now moving across the map. I don't know if that's just a reaction. Yeah, it looks like just Dysnomia is changing its position. Queens are coming too. Oh my gosh, what a strategy this is. Now, it does make lings in waves, it seems. Like, it just fires up like 40 at a time. Then uses all its larvae, so interesting production there. We see more drones on the way, and we finally do have gas producing for the Zerg that has been triggered, maybe now that the battle cruiser's been seen. All these lings are here, all these queens are here. So many more drones are being made all of a sudden. It's like Dysnomia all of a sudden woke up and was like, wait a second, I have a lot of minerals, I can make stuff. And yeah, these lings, the slow ling animation is actually lagging my PC a little bit, it looks like. Now we're doing all right, but that is just overwhelming, looking at those slow Zerglings, it seems, with all their little hands flailing about. And here they go. The slow lings are moving in for an attack. BenBot has got 2 bunkers, a planetary fortress, a siege tank, and all of a sudden the lings are going in. These lings have no attack upgrades, and they are just going to go home. A few of them try and get this siege tank, but that was a slaughter as Dysnomia is pushed home, losing 87 lings in about a second. BenBot has now got up to a 4th base. There is 2 battle cruisers teleporting into the main base of the Zerg. We have 5 spores on the way. Lots of drones being produced. Dysnomia kind of burned its early lead by going for such a wacky strategy. It's now got to pull its queens to try and deal with these BCs. There's no spores building in the main base. There's plenty of spores building elsewhere, or at least one at every base. Queens are transfusing each other, but we're seeing a distinct lack of upgrades, a distinct lack of anti-air. Dysnomia does have the potential to absorb a ridiculous amount of damage here, as it does have 95 workers and like 8 bases or something. 7 bases, pardon me. So it can take a lot of damage, and this game is far from over. However, it has given BenBot a lot of time in this game. We're seeing the Zerg get out some roaches, so it's not just lings. Anti-armor missiles hits those lings, as if they weren't slow lings, weren't easy enough to kill. Siege tank killing some of its marines as the roaches and lings go in for an attack. We'll see if these lings target down enough SCVs to potentially kill this base. BenBot does have a good marine count, even got some blue flame hellions, that's helpful. The lings are trying to kill off the siege tank. Looks like they will get it for massive losses, as the resources losses mount for the red Zerg. It can't afford those, losing 200 lings. However, in come more BCs now. There's a spire building. BenBot targets that down promptly. And oh boy, the Hydra Den is building too, but the anti-air is still lacking for Dysnomia. We have got more Lings running all over the place. Now they finally do have speed. And BenBot, though, still doing its thing, powering up, getting up to 5 bases in an incredibly strong economic position. The battlecruiser count is currently 3. I believe we did just see 1 teleport home. So Dysnomia is pushing back the BCs. There is now +1 attack done on them. However, the Spire was killed, and there's yet to be another one started. Queen's taken their time to get over here to engage this BC. No spores in the main is really problematic. We find a Hellion, find a location that BenBot wanted to expand to, as Dysnomia is now expanding all over the place. Anti-armor missile going down. Fungal and Lings trying to get on top of some of this bio. We see a Widowmine get some big shots off the planetary, not dealing nearly as much friendly fire as that siege tank was. Roaches are much better than these Lings, though. They can at least target down some of those SCVs. We're seeing Fungals get thrown out too, as this hatchery is now being taken for Dysnomia, and BCs are still harassing. A Spore Crawler is building. Looks like it will finish up and can start shooting this BC, but it's not long for this world as it goes down, so we see some Hydras respond. We definitely need Dysnomia to build some spores in that main base. Hydras, or a couple Hydras and Infestors are poking forward. Fungal growth getting tossed on down. Roaches don't have tunneling claws just yet. Raven attacking this base down here. Lots of spores. I'm not sure where these are going. It's like Dysnomia is building a nice Spore Crawler forest. I actually really like that. And it does have a good Infestor count hugging these spores, so I am wondering if it's going to go for that Neural Parasite to teleport the BCs onto the spores or not. We'll see. We are seeing Hydras being pushed back by the BCs. Dysnomia and Eris do like to attack a lot, so this will feed into BenBot. And the Zerg is actually quite broke right now as it builds a trillion Spore Crawlers, it seems. And all of a sudden, it's burned through that massive bank it had early on. Running out of minerals now, not gas. And the Zerg is now getting up a Spire, so it will have some better anti-air options. Spore Crawlers shooting at Ravens, shooting at this command centers, as these Hydras deal a lot of damage to that. Upgrades are rolling on out on both sides. BenBot is getting +3 armor, so those BCs will be much stronger. +2 attack on them is also terrifying. Infestors, one of them does eat a Yamato cannon. I guess the Raven provided the detection for that. In come the BCs. Once more, Neural Parasite goes down. A Scan is going to try and free its comrade, and that will allow it to potentially teleport out. However, I believe it lost the Neural there, so that actually interrupted the teleport. Interesting to see. Okay, Spore Crawlers helping fight against these battle cruisers, but the BCs are still taking a pretty good trade for BenBot, as this game has turned into a constant skirmish. That does seem to be going okay for BenBot, with 20,000 resources lost to 5,700. So far, Dysnomia does have many more bases than its opponent, though actually taking 2 on BenBot's side of the map. We'll see if it can hold on to those or not. We are seeing BenBot inch forward, though. It's now got tanks. Hydras and Roaches are moving forward. The battle cruisers for BenBot, some of them have been repaired, some of them are in the process of being repaired, are pretty darn good. We do see a Neural Parasite actually secure a kill on that. That is one of the things that Dysnomia really does right, and same with Eris, actually targeting down those BCs when they're neuraled to actually get kills on them. We've seen 2 die so far this game, and I get the feeling there'll be some more going down too. Now that Corruptors are out on the field, now that Dysnomia has really built into a strong composition, even securing these bases and holding on to them for a while. So BenBot is locked down on bases, and that's something we really have to pay attention to. We are seeing Neural Parasites get kills on some of these battle cruisers. That's 3 dying right there, and all of a sudden those BCs and the efficiency of BenBot is looking a lot worse than it was earlier. This battle cruiser out on its own is in trouble, and this is where the trickle effect of battle cruisers starts to lose efficiency. Like BCs in Starcraft 2, they're okay at trading if you get Yamato cannons, then get out right away, but if you just run 1 or 2 in, they can be picked off, as we've seen. Corruptors are kiting against these BCs. The damage they're dealing is very low, though, as Dysnomia does not have any attack upgrades. We're seeing one start just now, whereas BenBot does have 2-3 on those battle cruisers, so that's very important. That does help their efficiency for now. Those upgrade advantages are evening out, though, with the Zerg getting more and more. In comes Dysnomia, going for an attack. Battle cruisers getting Yamato cannons off, taking lots of damage, but also dealing lots of damage. Corruptors getting volleys off on these BCs. They still deal decent damage despite the massive upgrade difference. Still, though, BenBot will hold on against the Zerg attacks. Dysnomia mining barely. One drone working at this base. We'll see if either of these locations really get mined out too much. That's going to be important in this game. As that goes on, the Blue Terran trying to push out. So far, the Zerg is keeping the pressure on. Neural Parasite interrupts that Yamato cannon, gets another battlecruiser killed. Will we see any more Neural Parasites going down? Not yet. BCs are getting off some good Yamato cannons. The scans from BenBot have actually been really darn good to reveal those infestors and allow them to be killed. To interrupt those Neural Parasites, we actually see BenBot prioritizing those infestors, killing them off. So let's take a look here. The kill count is currently 5 dead BCs to over 8 dead infestors. Goes to show that this is a trade, and now BenBot pushing towards the north is potentially going to kill this hatchery. We shall see. Some Hydras do respawn, but it's just a handful, and we're actually seeing Dysnomia having that problem that Eris has sometimes as well. That is the fact that the Zerg tends to trade out at such a rapid rate that it actually loses supply and then takes less efficient fights as time goes on. We're seeing the Yamato cannons for BenBot get some really good work done here. And this hatchery hasn't been mined enough for the red Zerg to really get the efficiency it needs. And if BenBot takes this base, that will be disastrous. We're seeing command centers try and fly out and take bases that are super duper far out. Flying over spore crawlers is a bit wild. Corruptors are potentially going to kill off this command center. The corruptor count has grown significantly, but it's still 10 BCs to 14 corruptors. Minus 10 for Yamato cannons, and all of a sudden the battle cruiser count is looking real good. We are actually seeing Vikings in the sky too for BenBot, really wanting that air control. Looking at the supply though, for the army, it's 80 to 120. So it's no wonder that Dysnomia is taking really bad fights. Neural Parasite does catch one of the BCs, gonna turn that Yamato cannon on a friend and then get killed off, so that's a bit rough. So Dysnomia is getting some good kills. This command center is flying around. BenBot has yet to secure this base, as the Zerg is also mining from this location a little bit more. However, BC and Raven harassment is good. It's great to see BenBot with that harassment behavior, fighting all over the map. We've got just units all over the place. Hydras are usually good in a situation like this for Dysnomia because it can pick off those odd units with their high damage. As we look at the minimap, there's just violence everywhere as Corruptors are out on the map a little bit too far, I think. But they are not going to win against these BCs, so they do retreat. More and more upgrades are going up for the Zerg. Eventually, though, Dysnomia will run out of money. It's got a ways to go yet with quite a few fresh bases, but fast 4 hatcheries mean you mine out the first bases quite quickly. And yeah, BenBot has turned its sights towards this base in the bottom left, looking for some more kills, and if it picks off this base, that would be huge. Dysnomia does run a Ling over to this location and doesn't burrow. In comes the Zerg looking for some good kills, but the BCs are all just teleporting out. One infestor gets a Neural Parasite. We do see that promptly be targeted down. Yamato cannon on a friendly battlecruiser. Another Neural Parasite will secure a kill, so it's not like the Zerg is leaving empty-handed, but the trades are vastly superior with 50,000 resources lost just about to 18,000. And that's why holding this base is so critical for the Zerg. But we've actually seen an odd attack force of a few Marauders and Siege Tanks suddenly break one of the red Zerg's bases. Some Ravens are getting picked off. Those are nice pickoffs for the Zerg. BenBot can definitely afford more losses. Not too many, though, as it has really started to mine out itself. The first 3 bases are practically gone, so that leaves the 4th and the 5th, and hopefully a 6th soon enough. There's a scan going down to reveal this Ling that's actually, and the creep that's actually just hanging out here. But there's actually nothing in position to clean it up just yet. We'll see if there's another scan. BenBot's scans have actually been really good this game. The CCs cannot land yet because of that creep presence. We'll have to watch if there is another scan to clean that up. Units are in position. Overall supply, though, Dysnomia is in a terrible, terrible position. It does seem to be just a little bit too aggressive in situations like this. Good burrow to save that infester. More of them burrowing. Looks like those Yamato cannons do get canceled. Neural Parasite going down. All of a sudden, that battle cruiser hitting the friend, forcing it to teleport away. Hydras will try and target down this BC before that Neural runs out. They will succeed, but we're still seeing it's 80 supply fighting against 115, which is not good. You need to be fighting. Oh, pardon my mouse. I'm going to pause for a second there. Oh, there we go. My mouse came back. Razer equipment likes to randomly disconnect. I don't know why that is. My assumption is it's Windows updates being funny at random times or something. Still very frustrating. That happens during a game or something like that. We are seeing a high corruptor count for the Zerg, but not really that high, as some of them do go down. And then the corruptors are getting some pickoffs. They're definitely helping out. Dysnomia is in a really rough economic position here, though, now, as all of a sudden it's just lost a lot of stuff. There is one Hellion causing problems. Looks like some Lings will get on top of that. There's also some tanks, though. Hydra just going to stand in front of those, not get on top of the tanks like would be desired behavior. And the Red Zerg is just running out of steam. I think we are seeing more of a trend as to why Dysnomia and Eris do lose in games that bots like BenBot do get established. And that is because it does fight, I think, sub 200 supply too often. That just leads to worse and worse trades as time goes on. I mean, the infester behavior is incredible, securing these kills on battle cruisers. So, like, it is making things be better, but it's still not enough. And we are seeing, look at this, it's being aggressive with only 32 army supply. More and more neural parasites are going down, so like the cost efficiency is insane by the Zerg when it comes to these little plays, but then overall, like, it's just been throwing away units. And BenBot's efficiency is way too good. We've also seen BenBot, I mean, it is starting to run out of money. Well, run out of mining. But it's got a bank of 5k. Dysnomia is down to 86 supply. All of a sudden, Dysnomia's mining is just in complete disarray. It's got 62 drones, but not that many bases to mine on, really just this one here. Drones have bugged out. That does seem to happen sometime for Dysnomia and Eris in the late game. They burrow and then they don't unburrow, but as I look, there's a good reason they're staying burrowed. It's those two siege tanks that have yet to be dealt with. So that behavior is actually working perfectly as intended, pardon me. Drones getting gunned down, trying to make it to a base. Siege tanks still causing problems. The Zerg really is out of steam here, and BenBot is doing well enough, I'd say. If the Zerg could manage to get and keep up one more base, that would have been good. But we do see another classic case of Eris / Dysnomia losing out if the Terran can make it up to that 4 or 5 base mark. We are seeing some struggles from BenBot. It's got like units here, it's like they're trying to put it together. They're like, there's something I need to do here. But then there's no scan to reveal those tumors. I think it might be a radius thing. I bet if the tumor was here, it would be scanned and killed or something, but BenBot does still have those struggles. Looks like Dysnomia is trying to get up another base, but the BCs are cruising around. There's still 9 of them out. There's basically no army for the Zerg whatsoever. And yeah, another great showing by BenBot, showing us that BenBot needs to get better in the early game, better at surviving and stuff, whereas Dysnomia does need to just get a little better in the late game or kill its opponents earlier. And Dysnomia very well could have won this game if the build was structured around, say, just going into like a roach flood like it does off the back of the 4 bases, because it got up to the 4 bases super early on, no problem. But it did not capitalize on it with that sort of silly Ling play. Maybe the bot author's having a bit of fun there, which really is what this is all about. So, well done to both these bot authors. And if you guys have tuned in towards the end of this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. The bell icon will notify whenever you put up new videos. You don't want to miss them. as we'll figure out how my upload schedule looks with me gonna be away for some work stuff. But yeah, leave a like, comment. If you haven't become a YouTube member, maybe check out the perks down below with that join button. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.